Lafia and Lafia projects and civic impact for sustainable development. You are welcome. And our sister MDA Bureau of Statistics, you are welcome. Before we commence proper, we will ask the presence of the Almighty Allah to take charge of this meeting by way of prayers. So ask our internal auditor who will say the Muslim prayers, and Pastor Dennis will say the Christian prayer. Let's go in that order. Jerry began to pray for us. Pray for us. Umar.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد اللهم اغفر لك لو تتبع سنسمعك عليه وعلى آبائه غير لسان في كل ساعة حتى تسمع كلام برحمتك.
Amen. Jerry, hold that mic. Hold that mic and pray.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, our God, we thank you, bless your holy name. Thank you for taking us this morning to be here. Thank you for the grace. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of good health. Thank you for the gift of this meeting. Lord God, our Father, take preeminent control as well. Going to listen to this project and we pray that you grant us understanding so that we will exhaust it and beneficial to us, to the state and all the citizens of this state. We pray that you see us through and grant us understanding through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll do self-introduction. You please hold this mic and say it clearly because they're recording. I'll start from my brother. Do it and pass to the next person.
Good morning, all. Ladan Justin is the name from the Office of the Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning. My name is Sharif Sijon, Director of Finance and Accounts.
Good morning, all. My name is Aminu Bala Mohammed, Admin Officer.
My name is Umar Sulaiman Umar, Internal Auditor, Ministry of Youth Development.
Good morning, all. My name is Saiza Helen. I'm a staff of the ministry. You're welcome.
Good morning, all. My name is Ali Dunia, the Dex Officer Registration of Youth Clubs, Associations, and NGO in the ministry.
Good morning, all. My name is Mr. Vincent Tobais, Youth Development Officer, Kagerko Local Government.
Good morning, all. My name is Alex Francis Along, Youth Development Officer in charge of Sanga Local Government.
Good morning, all. My name is Linus Bukut from Zango Local Government.
Good morning, all. My name is Joyce Musa from the Office of the Commissioner.
Good morning, all. My name is Joseph Yakubu Aburi, Head of Registration Unit, Ministry of Youth Development.
Good morning, all. My name is Martha Ayuba, YDO Kajuru Local Government Area.
Good morning, all. My name is Idris Yusuf, Assistant Desk Officer Registration.
Good morning, all. My name is Ismail Jafaru, Youth Development Officer, Kaduna North Local Government.
Good morning, all. My name is Mary Marcos, PA to the Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, all. My name is Nuhu Abdulafish, Intern Ministry of Youth Development.
Thank you very much. My name is Seth Magaji Ali, Director, Admin and Finance of the Ministry. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Amina Lami Aliyu. I head the Project and Technical Coordination, Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics.
Okay, morning all. I'm Solomon Chanan. I work with Lafia program as the monitoring, evaluation, and learning coordinator for the state. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Denjuma Martins Abbas Dangwa, and I'm from Calped.
Good morning, all. My name is Ehis Adbon. I am from Procyon Radio and Television.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yusuf Ishaq Boje. I'm from Civic Impact for Sustainable Development. I'm the Executive Director.
Okay, thank you very much. By way of remark, I want to also inform us, especially staff of the ministry, this meeting you have been here is deliberate. There is a reason why you are asked to be here. So the management is aware of your being here, and don't take being here going forward. It will impact not only your life, but also the entire life of the youth of Kaduna State. So if you take it for granted, you'll be at the receiving end. The management and the PAMSEC and commissioner asked me to inform you to take this meeting as serious as possible, and that our visitors should do a very serious assessment of our contribution and participation. Thank you very much. I will hand over the floor to the lead officer that will carry us along. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll go back.
Let me just hold. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's in bed, Yes, yeah. So thank you very much for creating our time to be part of this orientation program. We are here because of you, because what we are going to discuss is basically what this ministry should be championing in Kaduna State. Whether we like it or not, this is the most important ministry in Kaduna State because you are in charge of the most productive segment of the population. And that means if really we want the state to move forward, then this ministry must take its rightful place in the development agenda of government. So we are excited to be with you today. Like you have seen on the agenda, we're having a one-day orientation session for staff of Ministry of Youth Development on Kaduna State Demographic Dividends reports. We are here with a lot of our others. Hajia Amina is from the Bureau of Statistics. They led the development of this particular document, and that's why she's here to really share her wealth of knowledge and experience around this document. This is the second time I think Kaduna is developing a roadmap for demographic dividends. So she knows it like the back of her hands. I believe if you wake her up in the night and you say demographic dividends, she will give it to you in terms. So she would really be educating all of us on the roadmap. And basically, we have three key objectives of why this orientation program is holding. The first is to raise the awareness of the staff of this ministry on this Kaduna State Demographic Dividends Roadmap. So before I go to the second one, I just want to ask a random question. Permit me to say that, can you raise your hand if you have ever heard of the Kaduna State Demographic Dividends Roadmap? By show of hands, anybody that has heard of it? Wow. And this is a document that directly speaks to you. So I believe from this random sampling, it is right to say that the first step to take is even to create awareness among you on what the document is all about. Then secondly, is for everyone here to have a shared understanding of what this roadmap seeks to achieve and what the role of the ministry is in driving the implementation of the roadmap. Then at the end of it, we hope to have concrete next steps of what we need to do going forward in ensuring that this document is implemented. And why is this ministry very important? It is because if you look at the mandate of all of the MDAs that have one thing or the other to do with this document, basically the Ministry of Youth is the one that has the mandate to really develop policy and coordinate youth empowerment, youth development programs across the state, across all other MDUs. So the Ministry of Health already have their mandate. So they can hardly go outside their mandate to coordinate anything that is multi-sectorial. The same with Ministry of Health, the same with Ministry of Business or Innovation and the other ministries. So basically we are here because your mandate strongly speaks to this document, and we believe that the Bureau is driving this process, but with your own agency partnering with Bureau and Planning and Budget Commission, really this document will move beyond just being a beautiful paper with beautiful words and beautiful action that ends up on paper, right? But how do we take it from paper to reality? So I'll quickly just take us through the agenda, then I'll invite our powerful Hajia from the Bureau of Statistics to take the first presentation. So we've done like almost 3 of these sessions. The welcome remarks probably will wait when the commissioner, since they said she would meet us at any point in time. So we'll wait when she comes, she gives us the welcome remark. But then we would love to hear from Lafia. Lafia is the one supporting, is leading in supporting the implementation of the demographic dividends roadmap. They are an FCDO program. FCDO is Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of the UK government. And so they are supporting this process. So we'll hear from them. Then we'll now get to hear from Hajia, who would also generally take us through the document, right? Anche waka bakin mai ya fi daɗi. So since they developed it, right, they led the development process. She will take us through the report, then down to the roadmap. Yes, so these are some of our colleagues. They are journalists. We work around demographic dividends together with them. Then afterwards, I will lead the discussion around what strategies do we need to adopt to ensure that the ministry actually plays its critical role. Thankfully, it's a new ministry. So, and this has a lot of advantage for this ministry because the more you're visible doing activities, the more it's easier for you to even get other, because government itself will prioritize you, right? When it comes to budget, when it comes to certain decisions, because you're visible championing an important document that speaks to the development of Kaduna State. So we'll look at what strategies, and these strategies are not coming from me, right? It's coming from you because it is, you're expected to take ownership of these documents in that direction. After then, we'll just take general interactive session. People can share thoughts, share ideas in terms of learnings from the document and all of that. And then we'll take a break for prayer and lunch. And after then, we'll come back and discuss next steps. And then before 3 o'clock or by 3 o'clock, we should have finished everything that we need to do. You know, the problem of Nigeria and Kaduna State is not Dogon Turenchi. We already largely know what the problem is. We know also what the solution is. So the critical question is, what action do we take considering the challenges to ensure that we move forward in that direction. And I know by the time Hajia will make her presentation, there are some data that she'll bring out around the demography, right? We said we've not heard of the word demography and demographic dividends, or we've heard of the word demography. Who can share with us what it means before Hajia comes? Or you just heard of the word without really knowing the definition. So, okay, yes, sir. Yes. Yes. So thank you very much for that. I think we'll just hand over this session for you to facilitate because that's just the perfect definition. It's about population and it's about understanding the age structure within your population. One, you look at the size, then you look at age structure. And you know, they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So if government does not have an idea of the segments of its population, then how is government able to determine what amount of resources should government invest in children? What amount of resources should government invest in youth and the elderly, right? So every government program should actually be targeted because government is about the people. Yes. So if government is about the people, then government should target the people based on data, based on evidence, not just doing budget and spending. That's why if it is based on data, I make bold to say that don't be surprised, this ministry will have the highest budget allocation. If it's basically they sit down and say, let's use data to do budget, this ministry would be like Ministry of Finance. Everybody will be coming here looking for what to collaborate or work with the ministry. But I strongly believe we can make that happen, right? The commissioner alone cannot make that happen. All of us have to make it happen so that government understand that youths are in majority, but they don't really understand the implication of how they invest in that majority. So, and that is why this ministry has a critical role to play in making government understand those at the top that yes, you need the youth during campaign, you use the youth, but you also have to invest in these people in this certain area based on this data because Bureau of Statistics is the one that has brought out the data we are using. So it's still a government agency that has brought out this data. So, and why does Bureau of Statistics exist? Is because of ensuring that government always has the data to make the right decision, to channel the resources in areas that really would impact the society in general. So I'm just discussing this because Hajia is supposed to take the next, Hajia Amina is supposed to take the next presentation. And I hope, yes. So Hajia, we are waiting for you. Yes, you're next. So that's basically why we are here. And I'm even excited that we even have people from the local governments coming. And it is very important because any planning that is not inclusive in terms of geography, those in urban area and those in rural areas, their needs might not be the same. And so it is always good to factor in. Ogafemi, we will disturb you small so that Jia can use this place. When you go back, either your zone and yeah. Yes. Okay. So Hajia, before you start, we'll quickly take goodwill message. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Good morning, all. Yeah, thank you for having you again. For some of you, we are meeting for the first time. For some of you, we've met, was it last week? Yes, when we came here. So, my name is Chanan Solomon again, and I work with Lafia program as the Monitoring, Evaluation, and Learning Coordinator. So, for we as a program, we are a health system strengthening program. So, and it's an upstream system strengthening. So that means we're into uh, issues that has to do with policy, strengthening policy formulation, guidelines, and other capacity building support to the Ministry of Health. And uh, it's a program that is funded by UK 8 FCDO. So in the UK. So, and we work in Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, Yobe, Borno, then FCT itself. So most of our intervention is tailored towards health. But notwithstanding, there are some area of flexibility. That's why we happen to be here with issue of demography. It's not really a new thing, but it's just that the awareness is low. So that's why we are here. We feel it's right for us to collaborate with to collaborate with the people that are supposed to be responsible in driving this process. So it is on that note I want to appreciate you for your time, and we hope that we are going to do justice to this orientation by we committing our time and little resources coming to your office. We also hope that you too, you will commit your energy and your time. And my expectation is that at the end of the day, everybody will have the requisite understanding and knowledge of demographic dividends for the Kaduna State roadmap. So my hope is that we pay attention accordingly, and if possible, we share the document with you, soft copy, so that you have a look, go down and brainstorm over it. With this orientation, we should be able to have better understanding when we read it and join it together. So thank you for your time. I hope we'll have a wonderful presentation. And Haja, thank you for coming once more again for your time. You know, you've been the driver for this. Thank you so much. Okay.
Morning.
I work with Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics. So Mr. Goje has started talking about this topic, the demographic dividend, talking about it, and in a way that you know, we need to understand what do we even mean by demography. The dividend we are talking about is very, very important, and it's key driver for any country to develop. That's why you can see Singapore. You even see United States, or some this country in Europe, what they use as a strategy in their government for the to have a fast development is harnessing the demographic dividend. Demographic dividend, we know, as with the name implies, demographic is talking about structure. Structure here we are talking in this context we are talking about people, how people are structured in a given location, in a given geography. So here we are talking about the national has in Nigeria we have the national demographic dividend. So it's expected that each state is supposed to domesticate to see what are potential, what its challenges and the rest. So to see the structure of this structure we are talking about, we're talking about population in general. Because if there is no people, there is no even country. because it's people that govern the country. So when we talk about demography, we're talking about structure of the population here in this context. And the dividend, what we all know what is dividend. Dividend could be positive, could be negative. Even if we know that dividend is a plus, but the way we use it could be positive, could be negative. That's why it's very, very key important. As I'm going to do on the right, see, this ministry is very, very key to drive this. Because as a ministry, you cannot work. You need to know what is happening, where you are, where you were, where you are, where you want to be. So this report is talking all about. But you cannot function as a ministry of youth without collaborating with all the sector. You need to work with education, you need to work with health, you need to work with planning and budget, you need to work with all the sector in order for you to succeed. So this is in a practical way. We are not going to be doing a, what are they calling, a just presentation. Let's be interactive so that we understand the document. It's a document that you'll be working with as going forward for your policy to develop your mandate. You can use this to harness and develop your mandate, to know what you are tracking, to know your achieve by next year, 2026. You know, you don't have budget. It's now that you have budget as for 2026. So you can be able to be tracking and everything. So that's why Lafia talked to us to come and talk to you on this. So I already said about the report where Lapia will share or will share the report. We already share with the report with the commissioner, the hard copy too. So we'll share the soft copy. It's exploring the potential of Kaduna State to enhance its demographic dividend, highlighting key challenges, opportunities related to youth, women, governance, and economic empowerment. So in this key thing, we talk about the youth, which this ministry is inclusive, even the women, because when you look at the youth, the age you are talking about, the youth is inclusive of women. So we are talking about all these um, um, demographics. Then, sorry, let me put it in silent. So this is what the report is talking about. Then let's go into the demographic dividend as we define. This is the definition of the demographic dividend, DD or core. It's referred to economic growth potential that arises from changes in the population structure, particularly when the working age population is larger than the dependent population. So we'll go to the findings so that you can understand when a country has working age population is bigger than its dependency population, meaning that country is doing very well. But when your dependency is higher than your working population, there is bound to be a big problem. That's why this ministry is here to be able to what? The people where how can they harness those people to be productive, to contribute to the working population? Because when you have a youth, I know this, we define youth from which age to which age? 35? You know, the definition of youth varies according to different dimensions. So as a ministry, you need to define what is the context of Kaduna. Some people, they will say when they are 40, they are still part of youth. Some people, they will say this, even the youth you are talking about, it's not even from the 18 we are talking about, we are talking from 15. 15 years, the adolescent, they are part of the youth. The adolescent is between 15 to 19. They are inclusive in the youth because that is the peak period. Anything you do to those group of age, it will be there will be a occasion for the other group. That 15 to 19 is very, very key in any population. Because if they have a good direction, they can be able to be more productive when they reach those age where. So you can see it's not where this ministry shouldn't be looking at 18. 18 is maybe there is some certain law that apply to that person, but youth start from that 15 years to that's why even in health for fertility for this we talk about 15 to 49. That is reproductive age. A woman can be able to deliver by the age of 15. So this is what we are talking about. Then why is it relevant in Kaduna? Understanding and harnessing DD can lead to significant economic development and improving living standard. This is the key core objective, even for this development of this ministry, is to improve the standard of the youth and enhance the potential, coordinate the activity, see that youth meet the potential they aspire to be. So the report focuses on this. As I said, the population dynamics, economic growth potential, youth inclusion, and governance strategy. Population dynamics. Population dynamics look at some key dimension. Number one, we look at the population. That is number one. What is the figure of the population? We look at fertility. The fertility rate we're talking about here, we're talking about how in a lifetime a woman, how many children can she be able to deliver? Kaduna has for the state, we have 5.6 fertility rate, meaning on average, a woman can deliver 5 children. It's a good thing, but without harnessing that delivery, it can be an exposure. Very, very. So we look at fertility rate, we look at migration. You can see how Kaduna strategically is located. We have inflows of migration, internal from urban, from rural to urban, interstate migration, even international migration. You can see people coming from Niger, from this, coming to Kaduna. Kaduna is so much close to Abuja, where that people that intends to go to Abuja can relocate to Kaduna. So you can see the risks. It's a good thing when you have people, and it's a risk when you don't harness. So population dynamics look at population, look at migration, look at fertility, look at death, mortality. Like now for Kaduna, we have per 1,000. In each 1,000, before the age of 5, there is a child mortality. More than 52 children die before that age. So you can see it's not only to deliver, to even maintain those children to reach that 5 years. You see, they are dying. And Kaduna, I know Kaduna is not as bad as other states in the northwest, but it's still high. So in population dynamics, you have to look at all these components. Look at your birth rate, death rate, migration, population, then you can be able to plan. Then the economic growth potential. We are looking at the working class. What is their number? But in terms of when we are talking about demographic dividend, we are talking about what is their relationship to education, what is their economic empowerment, what is their how well are they? That is in terms of health and wellness, living standard. So all these things is tailored into the what are they calling the economic growth potential. Then we look at the youth inclusion. So without you addressing the issue of youth, you are not doing anything. You are not doing anything. So because that age bracket, you need to harness that age bracket. That's why we are talking about youth inclusion. So you can see it's not, we didn't even say women or this, we're talking about in general youth, both female and male. Then the governance strategy. What strategy the government has in order for them to use and implement, enhance, and coordinate for the state to have to improve the living standard. That is the purpose of government, to coordinate, to guide, to govern, and to improve the living standard of its citizens. That is overall goal of the government, so that there will be security, people will be access to health, access to education, access to this and that in order to improve their living standard. So some of the key findings, what we did in this demographic dividend, as Mr. Yusuf said, this demographic dividend is not the first time that it was developed. It was developed in 2019, domesticating the national demographic dividend, where we use a lot of study to be able to harness key findings and see where is Kaduna. What can we say in Kaduna in terms of all those dimensions we talk about? So Kaduna State has, this one is 2024, sorry, 2024 population projected. So Kaduna has 10,700,000 and something population. You know, it's projected population. We're using population growth of 3.18 for this state. So it has this 10.7 million as at 2024. Because in population, you cannot project the year you are in because it's not done. And you know, this population is minus and plus. There is a bigger margin of error. We're supposed to be doing population census every 10 years, but we could not do that. That's why projection, you see, it's a lot of time talk about projection. So this population in 2024, we are projecting Kaduna to be 12 million, almost 13 million by 2030. By 2030, we are expecting Kaduna to be almost 13 million. So you can say even from 10 to this, all this, every year, the population is growing. It's not that it's declining, it's growing every day. And 53.5% of this population are under 17. So more than half of the population is under 17. What is this called? This 53.5%, they are dependency ratio, that is the age-wise under. And we have another dependency ratio in the elderly too. So when you harness that, we have a high, large dependency ratio, which is a big problem to the state. Very, very big problem. And this is where Ministry of Youth come in. What can you do? What strategy can you put into place to say that in the next, do the roadmap, in the next 4-5 years, you can be able to mitigate some of these challenges? So that is one. So the demographic dividend, it has a window that was opened in 1996 and expected to close around 2052. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of strategy that is being done internationally, nationally, that Kaduna can borrow to be able to implement and enhance this kind of problem. Number one, like for Ministry of Youth that is just established, you can borrow from Singapore, borrow from Malaysia, and all these countries, they have strategy plan that they use to be able to enhance their youth to be very, very productive. The population structure we are talking about, because the demographic dividend we talk about is all about these 4 dimensions. Everything from A to Z is about this. So in overall, under 5 population, you can see 16.5% of our children are under 5. But currently, the study we are doing, because of issue of family planning, it has reduced more. Family planning is taking impact. That's why some of the country, you can see Ministry of Health is talking about family planning, drugs, advocating, and the rest. It's not for what? For the citizen to be able most especially for women, be able to have space, to have good health that they can deliver good babies. Then 83.8% of our population is below 40 years. It's good though, to some extent, when you look at a country like Canada, they have rich population. Even Germany, Italy, they have age population. They are looking for migrants to come to their country to be able to work because their population is age. So that working population is no more declining. But the 83.8%, if not harnessed well, managed well, it can be a disaster. That's why this report is very, very key to any government, any responsible government. They must know their own population structure. How can they work? Even to create job, you must know what you have before you can provide what you want, the job you want. And you cannot even employ everybody. You must make strategy to be able to accommodate substantial people. That's why the Minister of Youth is here. You can do a lot of trainings, capacity building, training, and the rest to be able to make those youth to be productive on their own. So, as I said, high dependency ratio, youth unemployment, and low labor force participation. That is the current situation in Kaduna. Nothing more, nothing less. We have total dependency ratio to be 121. So meaning one person is catering for 121 when you divide it by population. It's very high, very, very high. And we have, for the youth, that's what this ministry, you can see the difference from 121 to 114. It's not much. So meaning the bulk amount of people in that total population are coming from the youth, meaning the dependent is from the youth. And this is where you come in. Then we have the elderly ratio, just 7.05. As I said, 83.8% of our population are less than 40 years. So this could only be mad wonder you can start looking at to see what can you do. So potential for change is growing youth population offer opportunity if educated, skilled. That we're talking about capacity building and all the rest. And employed. Employed does not mean the government to employ them, but let them be self-employed. Let them have the skill that they can be able to work on their own to generate income for themselves. This is the population up to in the next what are they calling? In the next 75 years, you can see it's going up, up, up. It's not shrinking. So for the reports, even from our own study, we are doing a lot of household studies and the rest. We find out that when you have this kind of population, majority of the household, those that they are even within the ages of 15 to 49, most of them have or low secondary completion or primary. So education is key. That's why for DD to work and for this ministry to work, you must work with Ministry of Education seriously and all those mass literacy and the rest. That is one. Then for the health, high maternal and child mortality, as I said. You can see the rate of how many children. That one I gave is under 5. We have UNATA, we have child mortality, and when you talk about the woman maternal mortality, it's very high in Kaduna. So if a woman she's not healthy, she cannot deliver a healthy child, and in turn, it will affect the child, and that's why we have ratio of this mortality. And this has to do with if the Minister of Youth, they have to work with Minister of Health in order to have access to health services, not only access quality services, quality of care. It's very, very key and important. Because even who you are training, if they are not healthy, they cannot be trained. Then unemployment. We have unemployment, underemployment, overemployment in the state. Because even the workers, when they did not pay salary for 1 month, 2 months, everybody will go back to this thing. So we are just working for. So these are some of the area and recommendation, most especially for this Ministry of Youth and other ministry. Governance and accountability. To be able to do this, to strengthen anti-corruption measure and enhance youth participation through programs like data science fellowship, the Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics, since we have been training youth for the past, we are doing the 5th cohort, training them on data science. They can be self-employed. Most of who we have trained, they are either in Nigeria or they have even moved abroad, because now we have a big opportunity, even as for the Ministry of Youth, is that the world is now technology driven, is data driven. So when you focus more on that, I believe you can be able to reduce a lot of youth that are unemployed. So a fellowship and research as this can be able to help reduce the number of this dependency ratio we are talking about. Then youth and women empowerment. Invest in education, particularly for youth and women, to unlock their potential and demographic dividend. Then economic empowerment and job creation. Foster job creation and entrepreneurship, particularly in agriculture, technology, and services. Even for the gross domestic product of Kaduna State, as at 2024, the driver of economy is in services, where that is the technology is coming. So these are the strategic pillar for harnessing the demographic dividend. As we said, education, skill and development, health and well-being, security and justice, governance and accountability, then economic empowerment. Dropping any of this, we cannot achieve demographic dividend, because a society where they are not educated, like for Kaduna, we have literacy rate for male to be 63%, and for female is 42. You can see the gap is still very, very high. Health and wellness. When there is a lot of outbreak, all these, even the children, they are now where they are doing them the issue of this outbreak that just came out. No, it's not diphtheria. So, and we remember what happened in 2020. Corona just came in and stopped everything. So health, as we all know, is wealth. So health is very key in terms of achieving the demographic dividend. So also security and justice. Where there is no peace, nothing can happen. Economy empowerment. Where there is no work, no job, no opportunity. That's why security will be worsened. So all these, they are interchangeable. When we have a good governance, accountability, result, we can be able to harness this potential. So actionable point, we are talking about expand mentorship and all those skill activities. At the local government, not only at the state, let this activity go down to local government, because it's the local government that make the state. That's why even when we share the population dynamics, you can see the rate of people leaving rural to come to the city is high. That's why we will be having pickpocket, all these things around it, because some people, they don't even have where to sleep, where to stay, and rest. It's a big problem. Then increase public partnership to foster growth and job. This is very, very key. As we all know, the government does not have resources to cater for everybody. So partnership, collaboration, and this is exactly why we are here. Partnership with Lafia that bring us for us to be able to understand this. So this ministry needs to partner with a lot of partners to be able to, because there is a lot of activities going on in this. If properly managed, coordinated, it can reach a lot of people. But the same activity can be applied to the same community, the same people with different NGO, because it's not properly managed. So coordination, management of the activity, youth activity is very, very key. If this ministry can be able to champion to see that who is doing what and what. But you cannot do that. You must have a roadmap. You must have a plan. You must know where you are. It's when you know where you are, you know who you partner and where you want to be. So this is the methodology we use. I bring it last because this session is about define this, not about the methodology. It's a standard methodology that was adopted internationally, and we use a lot of use case to be able to develop for Kaduna, as we talk about the labor force participation, fertility rate, economic support ratio, and the rest. These are some of the what are they calling the activity. You can see the distribution. As the age for Africa, look at it, we're all this side. When you look at the consumption and the ages, you find out, when you see the dependency ratio, 121 at this thing. For the ages, when you match the elderly and this one, you can see the dependency ratio is about 130 or something to one person averagely. So I think together we can unlock Kaduna economic potential. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
All right. Thank you very much, Hajia. I can see the PAMSEC is here, so I'll hand over to the director.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. While the program was going on, the permanent secretary walked in. So we'll also give him this time to also say one thing or the other. Thank you very much, sir.
Good afternoon, each and everyone. You are welcome to this ministry, particularly our August visitors. You are most welcome. I am here with double cap. One is for my honorable commissioner, which I believe she will soon catch us along the line because we are just from government house having inauguration of our NYSC governing board with Her Excellency. So on her behalf, before her arrival, I want to welcome each and everyone. Secondly, I believe this Lafia, they are very non-supporting in terms of especially something that has to do with skills and core. So we must welcome you. And even though this is not the first time, we have interacted with you about 3 days or last week, and you gave us assurance that you are going to support the ministry and Kaduna State government. So you are welcome and thank you very much and happy. I wish us a successful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary. So we've already had the presentation from Hajia, and I think the best thing we need to do now is to open the floor for questions and comments. And we would like to really hear your own thoughts around demographic dividends, because apart from just raising awareness about the document in the ministry, we want to really live here with the assurance that we have a shared understanding of really what the document is about, as well as what your role is. And so I think this is the opportunity for us to also hear your questions, your comments, your contribution, and any other thing you want to add in this direction, so that we begin to look deeply into how do we take this conversation from Hajia's presentation to reality. And then from there, we'll come back and talk about the next steps and we move. So the floor is open, and please, our expectation is that you not just listen to us and keep quiet. We want to hear the questions, the comments, and the contributions. So I'll hand over to Director to help us facilitate that.
Thank you very much. This is actually the crux of the matter. I earlier said that your coming here today is intentional. You are carefully selected, and the permanent secretary is here to also do that assessment. Anybody, you say by identifying your hand, raise your hand. I will start from the staff officer. Introduce yourself. Go straight to the point. Make comment, question, and
My name is Mr. Joseph Bala Usman, the staff officer of the ministry. I will first of all ask a question, then I will make comment and also contribute. My questions is that on the aspect of maternal and maternal child birth, I know this is an issue that has been lingering for long, and especially in Africa, women are dying for this. Women are dying for this, and a lot of money has been put into place in order to take care of this. But up to today, if you go to the hospital, the death rate of women and children is still high. What is government doing pertaining that, or as based on this plan, is there any step that this program is addressing such issue My comment, I want to commend the state government, first of all, for creating enabling environment, especially uh, it is to our knowledge that Kaduna State has been targeted as one of the hot spots in terms of insecurity. But recently, from last year to this year, we could see there are improvement in some areas. Before now, if you cannot access Biningwari, today you can access Biningwari and access other places. Based on Ajia presentation, there are areas that you discover that if there is nothing that is taking place there, there is this movement from from the villages to the city. And insecurity is part of what leads to migration, because automatically you cannot stay whereby you know that maybe by tomorrow or next you are not sure of your safety. But with the improvement of security, it is to our knowledge that things are going very well in terms of farming. There are youth that, yes, they are in schools, and also they engage themselves into farming. So coming to the city, they look at it as if it's a waste of time. They go to their school, they come back, they have something, they will engage themselves. At the end of the day, they have a process of something that they will send, they will take care of themselves and take care of the H1s. And I want to also commend the state government, including the federal government. It is to our knowledge that some schools recently, some tertiary institutions have been established in the state. That also create opportunity for other students that are looking forward to gain admission in some tertiary institution, whereby some of them, they cannot access. Let's assume the creation of a Federal University of Applied Science in Techia. That has helped, especially it has helped this ministry, because I know almost about 60% of the youth in Kaduna State, they have gained admission into that school. So instead of involving into all this social violence and other social vices, they are there busy doing the needful, whereby tomorrow it will be a better day for them. So I think with this contribution, I can see my dad is raising hand for me. Let me give chance for another. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next person. Ali, go straight to the point.
Thank you for the opportunity given unto me. My permanent says I should. My DAF said I should just go straight to the point. Ma, well done. It's a good presentation. Ma, I don't know. Please, can you help to just tell us, in the midst of the challenges that the youths of Kaduna State are facing, what is the gap, let's say, the gap between the working population and the dependent population in Kaduna State? Is there any ratio, the gap between the working population and the dependent population in Kaduna State? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other hand? Okay, fine. Idris.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Idris Yusuf. With regard to the presentation you made, I want to ask a question on it. This is a Ministry of Youth Development, and the ministry is ever ready to do the best for the youth of Kaduna State. My question here is, supposing that the ministry intend to know the total number of, to get the total number of unemployed youth within the 23 LGS, what contribution will your agency offer to the ministry in order to get this data?
Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. I think I have about 2 comments. Or based on your presentation, Ma, you talk about the population, and during the presentation, I was just trying to ask a question based on the challenges of our youths of Nigeria or of Kaduna State. You talk of management and resources. Our challenges, is it the management or the resources? Because comparing to the population that we are talking about. Then number two questions, you talk about employment, underemployment, and overemployment. I was just contemplating, do we have overemployment in this society? Then number three, while you are talking, I was just raising this question: how can Kaduna State youth be effectively productive? How can Kaduna State youth be productively effective? Then you made mention of through training, capacity building, and skills acquisition. So I was with the opinion that more priority should be given to youth so that we'll be able to train our youth to be self-employed and to be empowered.
Thank you very much. Is there any other hand? Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome again, once again, our August visitors. And to our presenter, you did a very beautiful job. Actually, most of the questions I had wanted to ask, my colleagues have already asked. But during your presentation, Ma, you talked about with the graph that you showed us on the population growth in Kaduna State. I really don't understand. I don't know how you come about that report, because you said it's a very recent one. It was a report that was conducted in 2024. Ma'am, with the everyday report we're hearing from news on the high rate of infant mortality and maternal mortality in the state, we're basically concerned about Kaduna State because we are all civil servants of Kaduna State. So with this high rate of infant mortality in Kaduna State and maternal mortality in Kaduna State, how comes the projection of your population growth keeps going up and up, bar fluctuation, nothing? I really don't understand how you come about that. Thank you so very much.
Let's allow her to respond to questions, then we continue next session. Thank you. She will respond to these questions, then we continue. Just please write your question.
Thank you so much for the questions. But let me clarify one thing before answering this. Yes. Okay, I can sit down. Thank you. So, number one, we as Kaduna State Bureau of Statistics, we are a data generating agency, and we work with all the MDAs. And we have that mandate to collect information. No, even Minister of Youth, you cannot pronounce this is a total of youth without collaborating with us. That is one. But for his question on terms of mortality gap, when you look at the health sector, you can see there is a lot of work that is ongoing in that health sector. For example, for the primary health care, there is the basic health care that the state need. During the last administration, there was upgrading of 255. This administration has added another 255 to upgrade, meaning when you go to the primary healthcare, you can be able to access services that medical services that before in those primary healthcare they will do a referral to a secondary facility. That's why the health sector are trying to see that primary health, some essential, they call it, what do they call it, ma? There's some primary health care that they have a doctor coming to those primary care. Yes, packages. So they do that in order what? To improve the access. Not only the access, the quality of care. Because we cannot go to the facility and you don't see a doctor or the professional that you're supposed to see. So this one, and even of recent, the governor has increased the doctor because one of the major things that is happening in that health sector, number one, the facility. Even though we have facilities, some facility have been vandalized and the rest. And some facility, they don't have capacity to offer the services we are looking. That's why the government is putting hands in there. Then secondly, the issue of attrition. There is a lot of attrition. You find out a lot of our doctors from Kaduna are moving away. Nurses, yes. So all these things, government are doing a lot of things. Is for what? The overall of this thing is to improve well-being and to reduce mortality. We all know that mortality is inevitable. We all die at one point or the other, but let it be a cause that maybe a woman during childbirth she's not dying as such. There is a she can access that services that she needs. That's why the federal government create a committee that look at the maternal mortality. So there is a lot of intervention that is ongoing in the health sector that is tailored to reduce the maternal child mortality and improve the well-being of the citizen. That's why we, in my presentation, I suggest this ministry needs to collaborate with the health sector in order to enhance the youth into that. Then your question, gap for working population, that is the dependency ratio. When we say total dependency ratio is 121, that is the gap. Yeah, that is the gap. Total dependency ratio, whether it's elderly or under, is 121 for the state. It's very, very high. Very high. Meaning the number of working class that we have to the ratio of the people that they are not working. That's what we're talking about. It's very high. Then number of unemployed youths, we are partnering with this ministry in order to generate that, to do a survey on a labor force, to understand the labor system of Kaduna, to know the youths that are unemployed, so that we can have the estimate of the youth that are unemployed. It's very key to this ministry because it will be a yardstick for you to look at your plan so that you can be able to track your progress. Then issue of management of resources. In my presentation, we talk about economy, accountability, coordination. So when you talk about, you can't leave resources without management, proper management. So it's two ways. Look, there is no way. If you have resources, you didn't manage it well. And even for a style, we are developing your budget. You know what you want to do, how much you want to spend, and you see judiciously that that money is spent in the right thing. That's why when we are talking about to harness, to mitigate the issue of demographic dividend, we are talking of all these leakages in terms of corruption and the rest. If all those leakages can be harnessed, blocked, then issue of duplication, paragamentation, because this person will be doing this, he will be doing the same thing. This person is doing the same thing. Where there is another place, you don't even have anything, nothing. So that's why that management coordination is very, very key. If Minister of Youth can be able to see that all the partners, all the MDAs that are working towards, like the Minister of Agriculture, it's very key because they are doing empowerment and the rest. Where are they doing? With who are they doing to? So that they can be able to have that information. When they are going to do, they can channel their resources to the right place that maybe it has not been touched. That's when we talk about the management. So it's when you go, we share the Lafia will share the report, and we even share a report with the commissioner. When you go through the details of the report and the roadmap, you can be able to see how you will work with it. Then the issue of underemployment, overemployment, working poor that we talk about. Underemployment is mostly, when you look at the multidimensional poverty rate of Nigeria, a lot of people are working poor. They are underemployed. And when you talk about overemployed, there are some people, they are just sitting down somewhere. Money is just going to them and everything. So when you work on underemployed, overemployed, you see that you sanitize the system. I believe it can be able to have more people coming in. And when we talk of more people coming into the system, we're talking of the youth because they are the largest population. That is it. We have. We have. So then the issue of the population, your last, yes, she talk about the graph is going high. Yes. Yes. We talk about, when you talk about population dynamics, you must look at this 40. Number one, you are looking at the fertility. That's where the people delivery, the rate of delivery in the state, that is the fertility. You look at the mortality as you talk about. Then what do you next look at? You look at migration. In migration, we have two. We have internal, where it's from rural to urban. We have interstate, and we have even international. People are influx of people. We are working with Ministry of Education to do annual school census. There is nowhere in the world you have growth. We all know growth can be higher than 100 because we talk about growth irrespective of a given age. But when you talk about net must be less than 100. But in Kaduna, it's only few local government for over how many years we've been having net to be 100 plus. Because people are coming in, inflow. And Kaduna, as we said, even from the report you are looking, Kaduna is strategically located where the population you see from TAFA, because we do study to all these satellites settlement, you can see the level of population that is there. And you know, a lot of them, they are not even from this place. They are going to Abuja, coming back, going to Suleja, coming back. When you go to, even here in Lere, Ngwambawa. So all these things, these are some of it. When you look at the report, you can be able to understand why is it. And for Nigeria, when we said Nigeria is a youth population, for Kaduna, when you look at, we say fertility rate is 5.6, averagely for Kaduna. But when you go to local government like Soba, go to Kubau, you have 9, 12 as an average. What brings this down is like Java. Java has less than 3 or 4. 3. There's some local, so these are kind of things that you start looking at. You see that a lot of things, when you want to work on, you don't look at even the state, you go down so that you can understand the situation. I think that is your question. Thank you. Hmm? Oh. Hmm.
Okay, don't repeat question. Remember, the next objective is shared understanding of this document. Speak to this document. That's what they want to hear you. Your response will tell them whether you really get what the document is talking about. So let us not deviate from question that does not speak to the document.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Alex Francis Allo, Youth Development Officer in charge of Sanga Local Government. In fact, you have done justice to this very presentation. We, as the youth mentorship in the local government, I think this program is for us because to take it down to the grassroots. My question is this, ma. How do we reconcile the conflicting traditions and customs by some people when you are trying to disseminate information for them for the needful? like the issue of child education, especially the girl child. Some of them, the girl child education stop in the kitchen. And there is influx of some people from Jos. They are in Sanga now for mining. When you talk, they prefer to go that one and not going to school. Then how do we reconcile in order to provide solution for the way forward? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm very much set now. So thank you very much. Yes, there is one observation. You made mention of something that has to do with this kind of like our doctors, nurses, that we are having inadequacy of them in the state, which is very true. Because going by experience, because I work with Baraudico Teaching Hospital as Director of Finance for about 4 years. I could remember when we placed advert for the recruitment of medical officers and supporting staff. You know, for the medical officers, we have about 250 vacancy. I hope you are getting me. Just this is something that has to do with purely there is something that has to do with purely doctors and the supporting medical officers. That is the nurses, the lab and core. When we did that, equally we have a provision that we are going to recruit only 20 from admin and accounts. Are you getting my point? About 2,000 applicants we received for that admin, only that 20. But for the medical doctors, we received less than 150 applicants. And to be candid with you, when we call them for interview to recruit them, less than 100 surface at that time. To cap it all, when we gave them we say let us employ all of them because we need them. To be candid with you, we just received only 26 resume work. And at the end of it, before that year runs out, well, we have less than 10 that were in place. There are some, 2 of them that we call them, they were airport, they would fly out, they got another job. I want to believe with that. You talk about this issue of we need synergy with our other MDAs. I think Bureau of Statistics, you are in better position to do that for Ministry of Youth Development, because you are under your sub agency under Planning and Budget Commission, and you are the first of all these agents, donor and partners. You're supposed to sit down and design it. Whatever that is applicable for the youth should go for the youth. What is applicable for the agriculture should go for agriculture. The partners that are applicable for health should go for health. If not, you know, even last, I was together with my colleague, FAMSEC, Ministry of Agriculture. We had a conference about two weeks ago, which I believe you were there. I was opportune. The commissioners sent me to represent her in one program of gender in Kano State. That is where we had that there will be, Kaduna State will host conference on national conference on agriculture. I follow it up since from then. I follow it up up to the last day that this program will take place. They refused to invite us. When I saw the PAMSEC, I asked him what happened. I'm not happy. Because whether you like it or not, I believe when you said agriculture, the youth, we are having nothing less than 85% this thing. He said he is very sorry. That one will not work. We're supposed to attend that program A to Z, but they did not. So in a nutshell, where I'm trying to land is your agency, statistics, you are in better position to do all this design, put things that's supposed to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are coming to you, sir. Who's the next person?
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation, because I believe this is an eye opener to this ministry. Okay. Why? Because this ministry have a sense of direction with a clear vision and mission. The ministry, I believe, is ready to work with data. As a young person, I know the problem of the youth. And this generation, we can see they are embracing a paradigm shift from traditional ways of doing things to modern ways of doing things. And I believe they are also replacing old belief with new ones. So, and they are having a smarter way of solving their own problem. My question here is, you make mention of developing countries like Malaysia and Singapore. They make use of a model for their youth to be productive. So how can this ministry follow that their model and methodology to harness our youth to be productive? Thank you very much.
Yes, okay, I think that's all right. Good afternoon, all. I was actually not when I heard my permanent secretary. When I heard my permanent secretary talking, I was almost saying that he has said what I wanted to actually say. Now, but now we have roadmaps, quite a number of roadmaps towards some years ahead, 30, 40, 50 years. Now, I know there's this issue of you immediate, midterm, and long-term plan for all these years and statistics. Now, my permanent secretary just said something that now, how I wish this your presentation is coming before the budget, because if you have all these statistics, okay, what can Ministry of Youth Development do in the immediate for all these years of projects that you have analyzed, 75 years? What can the Ministry of Youth Development do for the immediate, the midterm, and the long term, so that a department in your own bureau will be given that mandate to present programs for the immediate, midterm, and long term for each ministry of Kaduna State government, so that before the budget presentation, you send the item to the ministry. The ministry will now include such programs for budget presentation for that year fiscal policy. Thank you so much.
You want to say? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you. I think it's a good suggestion, but left for me. This is just a suggestion or my opinion to what you are saying. So I think the role of Bureau for Statistics is to open your eyes to understand areas whereby you're supposed to uh, channel, create budget and channel, make sure that those resources, yeah. So them, they're the technical aspect of, in short, they are cross-cutting. If you look at it across everywhere, you will see them. Agric will come to them, health will come to them. So they're like the data bank for the state. You understand, right? So they help you project and now give you now look through. So I think it's something that if you want to seek for direction, then probably based on the data side, they will be able to give you direction of where you need to follow and now allocate your budget. So that's why we're here for this kind of issue. Even though I know she will respond in a better way of it, but this is my own suggestion. Let's look toward inward and see what we can be able to do. They will provide you with the data. You look through and see what needs to be done. Yeah.
Should I respond? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, Anna, thank you. For the first person talk about the issue of education and the rest, even in the Sangha, we talk about influence. That's why currently we are doing mapping of out of school children. It's a project that the state government get a grant from the Islamic Development Bank through the Reaching Out of School Children project to be able to bring it back all children that they are resident in Kaduna, irrespective of where they are, but to bring them back. We are currently working with Roots Project, Ministry of Education, to do the mapping. We have mapped out more than 100,000 children. We are taking them back to school. So for sensitization, you talk about in in Sanga. That's why the Minister of Youth, you need to be working with the education in local government, because the AMIs, the education secretaries were all working together to see that all these people are enrolled. If they are staying in Kaduna, in Sanga local government, and they are going to stay there, they can be enrolled to the government school, and it's free. And there is a lot of activities when you talk to them there for sensitization, how to convince them, as you talk about, to help you on that. Then for for the issue of the health, even we are going to disseminate health facility census next week. We did census on all the health facility in Kaduna, and there is the addition we added in that health facility question: readiness, accessibility of that facility. We find out that even ratio to a population to one doctor is very, very high, as you said, very high. That problem is still there. It's not that it has mitigated, but they are doing a lot of things to see that that problem is solved, even by using of Gate Foundation to employ doctors and nurses. But sir, the issue of the health here is the salary. When you compare to even Katsina, their salary is higher than Kaduna. So that was the issue. Everybody wants to move, and you know the world they have more opportunity. We are doing this data science fellowship. It's health centric. Most of this thing we do in data science towards health. We graduated more than 150, but believe me, more than 50 of them are already in abroad. They only do 6 months internship here to pay back. Yes, they are all abroad. So it's a big where this ministry can be able to to see that they reduce. Then in terms of for the budget, even this year budget, when your ministry went to the budget, the Bureau of Statistics was there to look at your data needs. And we yesterday the SD shared a work plan with the commissioner on how you can develop something for this ministry. I believe the most important thing is not only for the Bureau of Statistics, as you know, there is Planning and Budget Commission where there is planning department. Already Kaduna State has a state development plan, but Ministry of Youth, there is youth component on the state development plan, but not as a Ministry of Youth. This ministry needs to sit with director planning so that they see how they can integrate it. And we have done that. Okay. So and before the results framework, the indicator, we are the one developing for them. So we can be able to develop your indicator and work together with them. And then the one you talk about for the planning, we have done one. The SD shared to me to make input, but he has already shared with her. Yeah, but we are going to make input to resend an updated version. Then for the agri, sir, the agri, we did agri survey where the data is here. The ministry can use that data to be able to plan activities that they are going to do, maybe sensitization, empowerment, because um, um, in the rural area, the highest percentage of labor is in agri. So we have 42% of the population that is being employed by agri sector. And when we are talking about this 42%, more than 90% are youth. So meaning agri is very, very key. And the report and everything, we'll be sharing our report so that we can be able to see what you are going to be doing in terms of activities. Then the issue of the uh, the one you asked for your planning. you can be able to do research from that roadmap. That roadmap have a lot of guide for you. Because even what one of your what's the director name was in our office yesterday. Somebody they sat down with Mr. Musa. They developed, but in that roadmap, it has a lot of things you need. We already itemize process how you can be able to harness this. It's in the roadmap. And the example in other countries is in that roadmap. So we'll share the soft copy of the roadmap so that you can study it, you bring out your what you want. But the most important thing is that very important for this ministry is for you to have strategic plan. You can do 5 year strategic plan or 3 year strategic plan too. From now, what do you want to? Because you already have a lot of data now. When we give you the DD, we give you population, we give you, you have information that you can work with. You can design program for in the next 5 years. What can you do? Then you can be measuring it to see are you achieving it. And when you are designing the program, you can come to us. We can help you do the design. We and the planning and budget. We do for it's even our mandate to help the MDA. And you don't pay anything, you just come, you bring your mandate. But how do you translate your mandate into indicator, from indicator to activities, from activities to output, from output to outcome, and then the impact? We can do that to you. So thank you. Mhm. Okay. Yeah,
Thank you very much. At least we have responded very well, but I was expecting one of the objective is concrete next step. Concrete next step for accelerating the implementation of the DDR. All right. I don't know if somebody took note of that. You want to hear.
I think it's after. Yes, it's after all the presentation.
Oh, okay.
And just
All right. Thank you everyone for the feedback. I think to a very large extent, we all have an idea of what the demographic dividends is all about. And one of the basic thing is to see whether we have taken ownership from it, because I've also heard that a lot of the responsibility is being pushed back to Bureau of Statistics to take responsibility. And I think Bureau of Statistics is available to provide data for the work you do. So the major essence of this session is for the ministry itself to understand its role within this particular roadmap and take ownership of the areas that the ministry is expected to work around. And so, I don't know. It's off. No, well, then you go. This one. Okay. Kaduna mun kawai sani. Was it this one? Hmm? Okay. This way. This way. All right. So generally, we are supposed to look at the document. Hajia has given us a very strong background. But in the roadmap, right, we are not going to go through this. Ajia just gave an overview. There's already a metrics, activity metrics that have been captured. And that is because my elder brother there talked about the immediate, medium, and long term plan for the document. So the document itself, especially the component of the roadmap, has already outlined what activities should be prioritized in carrying out this particular demographic dividends. So, sorry, I'm coming. I just want to, yes, there's something I want to just share with us after looking at the. So already the roadmap has already provided activities that should be carried out. And the essence of this session is that in 2017, when the first roadmap was developed, the biggest gap that affected the implementation of that roadmap was that there was no ministry that took ownership of it. Bureau of Statistics mandate is just to generate data. After they have generated data, they don't have mandates to use the data for any other thing. If you go to Ministry of Health, they have their mandate restricted to health. They cannot go and oversee what is happening in education. If you have, if you go to education, their also mandate is restricted to education. The same thing if you go to economic sector, where you look at agriculture, business innovation and technology, their mandate is very restrictive. But if you come to the present day, so then everybody, they just developed a very beautiful document and left it. There was no driver. It's just like buying a new car and you just park it and there is nobody competent enough to drive the car. So it means that at the end of the day, the purpose of the car has been defeated. So with the creation of the Ministry of Youth and looking at your mandate, which is, I think the first one has to do with policy and coordination in terms of youth empowerment across the state. That means you have a cross-cutting mandate that can enable you to follow up on what is happening in health as it affects youth, follow up on what is happening in education as it affects youth, follow up on what is happening in agriculture, like the PAMSEC rightly said. If in the normal process, there's no how you would design any agricultural intervention in Kaduna State that you shouldn't bring the Ministry of Youth to be part of it. Because if we say democracy is the majority having their waiver and the minority having their say, and looking at this data, 83.8% of the population of Kaduna State are below 40. In every government policy, who do you think should reflect more? It is the youth, because they have the population. And so having the ministry that has been given the mandate to coordinate and drive all youth activities not involved in your planning means that you have practically excluded the majority of your population in planning process. And so that's one of the things that affected the first roadmap. So, but with the second roadmap, we now have a ministry that has a mandate. This session is to ensure that how does this ministry take ownership of this particular document and drive the process? Because if this ministry doesn't pick this document, I can assure you in the next 5 years, we'll come back and be saying what we are saying about 2017, because no MDA would be able to drive it. Even Bureau of Statistics that, and why Bureau even led that process, because when they did this, there was no Ministry of Youth. But if the Ministry of Youth was in existence as of 2024. I'm sure it was the ministry in collaboration with Bureau of Statistics and Planning and Budget Commission that would have led to the development of this document. So now that we just want to talk more about the 5 pillars that are in the roadmap. Because there are 5 pillars. Hajia talked about it briefly, but for us to really begin to think, because what we are supposed to do now is to strategize. How do we, one, ensure that internally, as a ministry, you take ownership of this document? Then two, how do you now ensure that you're able to engage all the other relevant MDAs across other sectors to begin to prioritize all of these areas that have been identified? Because without doing that, this document will not be implemented. Then already, thankfully, we've gotten some commitments from Lafia. And already discussions are there to see how other partners can also, because the easiest part is to get one development partner to be interested. Once one is interested, it's easier for you to talk to the others. Because now what development partners do is what is called shared costs. So if they want to support, they say, okay, you bring resources, let's support that. And with that, this ministry can have that kind of support in driving these documents in terms of implementation. So what Lafia is telling you with this meeting is, can you take ownership of this document? Tell us what you want us to support you in doing next, and we're ready to come in and support you. Despite the fact that there are issues, there are challenges, right? But we can start from somewhere to drive the process. And the most performing ministries and departments and agencies in Kaduna State, if you go and check, maybe by the time you remove Ministry of Public Works and Infrastructure, the others are highly donor dependent. That's why you see everywhere health, you see everywhere education, agriculture. Go and check. Majority of what they are doing are donor dependent. So no ministry in the realistic sense, reality now, can depend on state government budget to drive what it wants to drive. So for this ministry, you have an opportunity to embrace this document so that, number one, when you engage and you're active around it, it gives you the biggest window, which is giving you visibility. And once you have that visibility, it means that it increases your attraction for even government releases, because they will be seeing your activities, they will be seeing that you're creating systems, you're creating structures that is supporting the state, and you're not always coming to look for approval through memos. There are components that definitely you go and do, but at least you're taking a lot of the weight in that direction. So just to quickly speak about this, there are 5 pillars to this roadmap. One is talking about good governance. Why is good governance important? Because everything rises and falls on governance. Everything rises and falls on governance. What is governance? Governance is basically decision making. So when government put policy, policy is a product of decision making. Where government develop plans, plans are just a product of decision making. When government makes budgets, budgets are just a product of decision making. So the quality of decisions you make will be reflected in your policies, plans, and budget, and will finally reflect in the kind of delivery that you carry out. So that is why, in the thinking of the framers of this roadmap, if governance work, it will reflect how government is supporting these particular components of activities, not just in your ministry, but cross-cutting in those areas. So, and basically, the belief is that when there is transparency, there's accountability, there's inclusion, and there's participation, it increases the quality of decision making by government, and we would see the results therein. So, the second component, and there are activities, like I said, this will be shared to the to everybody. I think if you have a WhatsApp group or something, the soft copy can be shared with the permission of the PAMSEC and commissioner. So you can take time to look at that. But I'll just dwell a bit around this governance because it speaks more to the ministry itself. And one is that it has a few areas of investment that this ministry is expected to drive. And there are basically about 3 investment areas based on this roadmap. The first investment around the enactment of the state youth policy to ensure active youth participation in decision making. Because whatever this ministry is going to do, as long as you don't have a policy, it means that it's impromptu decision making that you will be making. So it's very critical that the first thing that there should be investment around this, there should be a policy for the 80. Let's assume that we are using the 40 years and below, which are 83% of the population, because in Kaduna State, youths no degree retire. Even at 60, some people are still doing youth leader. Yeah, youth at heart, right? So by the time you have that overarching youth policy, then it helps provide direction on where a government needs to invest. And when that policy is being developed, I can assure you it wouldn't be different from the areas of focus that this demographic dividends roadmap is talking about, because the document is speaking about youth. So if you're doing a policy, you see the clear alignment. And I can assure you, pick the youth policy of 2021 to 2025, pick the dividends roadmap, you will see that there are a lot of already areas of alignment. So the critical question is that the youth policy, I believe, should expire this year. So which way forward? Right? And these are the conversations you should be having with development partners like Lafia on your next steps. Because by the time you say you wait for budgetary allocation, you're sure it won't come in the first quarter. By the time it's in the second quarter, before you know, a lot of, and don't forget, 2027 election is already looking at you people. So by middle of next year, attention will shift. That is the reality that we have. So these are the conversations that we want to hear from the strategy, because after this, we'll hear from you again on the strategy. So I'm just giving you this to give you background. Then clearly it outlines what are the activities that should be taken out in terms of the enactment. One is talking about a youth summit. It's talking about how do we harmonize all existing policies around youth to become one document. Then it's talking about production of the policy. Then the second investment area is talking about enhance active participation of young people in governance. It lists out a number of things that needs to be done. So for example, we have analyzed the budget of the youth for so many years. So, and you find out that budget line items like youth parliament has continued to get budget allocation, but there are no releases and cash backing. So, and that is one avenue that government has recorded globally. Youth parliaments are one of the training grounds for youths that want to participate in governance and a platform for youths to amplify their voices. Then the third one is to develop advocacy, evidence-based advocacy briefs for buy-in of the demographic dividends. So this document, this ministry is expected to develop advocacy briefs on it, to advocate to critical stakeholders to ensure its effective implementation. So these are the 3 key investment areas for this ministry under this demographic dividend. So this one is the one you are expected to implement directly. But the other pillars, you have economic empowerment pillars. So you need to map out which are the MDAs that have to do with economic empowerment, agriculture, business, innovation and technology, KIFC. You have a lot of those agencies that you need to map them out. Already this document maps out some, but the ministry needs to also look at, are there others that are not reflected here? So this for the economic empowerment, there are about two areas of focus. One is talking about, I think, empowerment, and the other one is talking about employment. Then for education, this is a very critical area for the demographic dividends. Education has approximately about about seven areas of investment that needs to be looked at in that direction. So education and skills development is the third pillar. The fourth pillar is health and well-being. So that's another area that the ministry needs to pay attention around. So it also has about seven investment areas. Then the last one is security, equity, and justice. So that has about, I think, seven also. Yes, seven areas of investment. So all of these are clearly, I wish the projector was on so that you see, we can just leave it for some time, you see the kind of activities. But I think for the ministry, your area of focus is which one concern you, according to broking, which one concern me. So you already have those ones that are directly affecting you. And I think these are the justifications that can be presented during the budget defense. To say, if, for example, you make an allocation for youth policy, you can use this document to justify that, yes, it is the state government that made a commitment to have a youth policy, and therefore it can be justified. So because sometimes when you go to budget bilaterals, when you have evidence, it also helps your argument in terms of justifying that. Then the other component is about coordination. How do we ensure as a ministry you're able to coordinate the implementation of this policy across sectors? And if you look at the roadmap, it provides direction for how the implementation should go. The actual decision-making body or office when it comes to the implementation of this document is the Office of the Deputy Governor. But in terms of driving the coordination, it is this ministry that has the mandate to drive the coordination of these documents. Then each ministry, department, and agency, on the basis of these things we have highlighted, investment areas, they are supposed to all have work plans. And you as a ministry, you're supposed to have their work plans and use that work plan to track how well they are investing in that direction. And I like the questions that were being pushed to Bureau of Statistics, which should be more towards how do you collaborate with the Bureau to ensure that if this ministry today, somebody comes in and asks the question from January to October, how many youths have been empowered in Kaduna State economically? The ministry should be able to have that data broken down. Okay, in agriculture, government did this intervention. These were the number of youths that benefited. Yes, in our vocational centers that we've created, these are the number of youths that have been able to get invested and all of that. So the same thing in health. Health is a bit broad. There are those that has to do with child and maternal, but there are other components of adolescent healthcare and reproductive healthcare that the ministry can go and look at what is government doing in line with this roadmap to achieve it. Then you come to education, right? Look at how many people do you have in state-owned universities, for example, youths. How many youths currently, if I'll ask the question, have accessed the need-based scholarship? So these are data that, if you work to this ministry, should be readily available. Okay. Jana, the launch this. Okay, so that's a launch my same break about there. Okay. So maybe we can go for prayers. Then if we come back and the light is there, then we continue. But if lunch comes, then we decide what to do with lunch before continuing. But it would have been nice also that we were targeting that we leave here by 3 at most. So it's left for all of us to also manage the time in that direction. So if we can just take 15, is 15 minutes okay for prayers? And we go and come back. If the lunch is available, then we continue the break. If not, we take the next presentation whenever the lunch. But if we have the stamina, we can even by 3 when we are done, you take your lunch and everybody is done. So maybe we can just take 15 minutes for the prayers. Yes, then we come back. Thank you.